Today, we're going to look at reasons for English colonization. In the early 1600s, England began to establish colonies along the Atlantic seaboard. There were four main reasons for the founding of these colonies. Now, if you look at this illustration, here's the Atlantic Ocean. Here's the original 13 English colonies that ran along the Atlantic Ocean. A couple of areas of note: you have New France and you have New Spain, which are areas that we talked about earlier in another video. So England, France, and Spain all had claims in North America. The first of these reasons was political. Colonies would provide new sources of wealth and power for their country. The English government also wanted to weaken Spain by establishing military and naval outposts. Now, if you look at these two pictures, you see a British soldier, and notice the red coats, which is very distinctive to the British Army. And then here's a picture of a British warship. The second reason for establishing colonies was economic. The term economic deals with money. The way England did this was through the economic system it practiced called mercantilism. In this system, England controlled the economies of its colonies. Now, if you look at this illustration, it shows you how mercantilism works. England would take gold and silver from the colonies and send it back to England and add it to its own treasury. A second part of mercantilism was a favorable balance of trade for England. What a favorable balance of trade is when you have more exports, which are goods going out, than you have imports, which are goods coming in. Then the final illustration in here shows how mercantilism affected the colonies. The colonies would send things like gold, silver, fur, lumber, and foodstuffs to the mother country, which is England. They would in turn make manufactured goods and send them back to the colonies. And what this means is the colonies could only buy and sell from England. And this, of course, benefited England. This system led to triangular trade. The best known triangular trading system was the transatlantic slave trade that operated from the late 16th to the early 19th centuries, carrying slaves, cash crops, and manufactured goods between West Africa, the Caribbean and America, and Britain. Now, this illustration shows you how triangular trade worked. The colonies would produce things like tobacco and cotton, sugarcane, and provide other raw materials that they would then in turn send to England. England would make finished products, send some of those products down here to acquire slaves, and then these slaves were sent back to the colonies to work on the plantations, primarily in the South. The third reason for English colonization is religious. Some people left England because of religious persecution, and the word persecution means punishment. They then established colonies based on their own religious principles. Others wanted to practice religious freedom and did so, but tolerated other faiths. This introduced the concept of freedom of religion found in the United States today. And if you see this picture right here, you see all the different religions found throughout the world that have come to settle in the United States and practice religious freedom. The fourth reason for English colonization is social. Many people came to the colonies to escape poverty, which means being poor, famine, which means the lack of food, political turmoil, the availability of land, and to start a better life. So to review, the 13 English colonies were founded for political, economic, religious, and social reasons.